What's up, Adventure Squad? How you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having a freaking awesome week, or start to the week, or day. Well, today's Monday for me, so you probably won't see this until Tuesday. Anyways, hope you guys are having an awesome day, regardless of what day it is you're watching this. So, anyways, let's get on to this. Let's get on. I talk too much. Anyways, guys, I want to start a new kind of segment here with you guys. Kind of share bits of myself with you in the form of stories like that happened to me throughout my life, and I lived a really crazy life, guys. Like my vida was loco. My vida was not loco, and it's been just really kind of. I mean, you know, everyone has stories that are crazy or that are weird or off the wall, and I happen to have, you know, an abundance of those. And you know, maybe some scary stories, maybe some funny stories, maybe some sad stories. We'll go through all the emotions, guys. We'll just laugh, cry, scream, and cringe at the past that I lived. Anyways, so without further ado, I want to start off this segment, and this segment is gonna be called Storytime with Vic. Was that a little too much? Was that all in your face? We'll work on that. So, first story takes us all the way back to a land where I was a teenager, which was many, many years ago, when I was in high school. Okay, so it starts off in December. I used to sing a little bit, you know, I was part of a group. Oh, da-doop, shadoop, sometimes you, oh, stuff like that. I was part of the choir, okay? It was varsity choir, so it wasn't that weird, okay, guys? It was, yes, there's a varsity choir. We were the creme de la creme, guys, okay? So, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, they invited some of us to go help them Christmas carol. If I remember correctly, it was a week before they let us out for Christmas break. So anyways, we went Christmas caroling, and most of the places we went to were houses, you know, grandparents or aunts or uncles, you know, that we knew. So then after we did everyone that we knew or that people knew, we decided to go to the nursing home. This nursing home does have a bad stigma for me, and it's just to be kind of a sad place, you know? Just to give you a little insight, hospitals and nursing homes kind of freak me out. I remember being young, like 5, I was super young, and my great-grandmother was in the hospital, but when she was in the nursing home, like, you know, it was just a place where there was a lot of, you know, like nice elderly people, but they always looked really, really sad. And you know, and it was just I remember being really sad walking into a nursing home, but they would see me, and I was always I mean, I'm a big guy now, guys, but when I was younger I was still a big guy. But it was a lot cuter back then. I was a chubby little kid, so with the big cheeks, and everyone wanted to feed me all the time, and they thought that was cute. I mean, it just kind of freaked me out. Anyway, so I didn't have the best experience when it came to going to nursing homes. So anyways, fast forward like all these years, I'm back there with the school, and a bunch of my friends, a bunch of people I didn't know. So we walked into the nursing home, and I felt I had butterflies in my stomach, and I was like super nervous. The sliding doors open, I walk in, and to the left, the TV was on. There was like a little living room, and there was like maybe 7 to 8 elderly people, like in a wheelchair. Like, so we go to them first, and we start singing Christmas carols, like, I don't know, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells. And they were so happy to see us. I thought it was really cool, so I had to like be like the star and like, oh, and just sing my heart out. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, like that. Those people needed my voice because I was just that good. So as we were singing and we moved on, I noticed this one lady in a wheelchair just kind of glanced up at me, and we made eye contact. I was just like, I know you. And she looked at me like she kind of knew who I was, and she kind of smiled, and she was like, looked a little confused, and I was, oh my gosh, and it came to me. Like, it was my aunt, my great aunt. So it was my grandmother's aunt. Her name was Tia Concha. So Tia Concha was there, Yeah, I'm Mexican, guys. Tia Concha, that was her name. I loved her. Yes, her name was Tia Concha. She was one of my favorite great aunts. I love her. She was awesome. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, so Tia means aunt. So it's my aunt Concha. Okay, so I'll just use that just to make it easy. So my aunt Concha was sitting down and she looked right at me and I started bawling. And by this point, everyone had already moved on except except my friends Annie and AJ, and I think they were just kind of like standing back, letting me have my moment. I went to her knees and I was like, Aunt Concha, oh my gosh, I did not know you were here. I'm so sorry. And she looks at me and she's just like, she grabs my face and she's like, I don't know who you are. And I was like, oh my gosh, she has Alzheimer's and she does not remember me. And I got so angry and I was so hurt because no one had told us that she was in the nursing home. And on top of that, having Alzheimer's, I didn't know who I was. At that point, everyone started like, not from my school, but like I remember two nurses coming up and they didn't know what was going on. I was crying, hugging my aunt, and she was really, really frail, just like older, and I was hugging her and she was just like, I did not know I had any more relatives. I thought I was all by myself. It makes me happy to know that I have relatives. And I was crying, like, man, I was like so gutted. Like I could not believe that my aunt did not know who I was. She thought she was by herself. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I'm Vic, I'm Victor, you know, my mom and my grandma. I started naming names and trying to jog her memory. She could not remember. She just kept on telling me how happy she was that she finally realized that she wasn't alone. And the nurses were like crying. Our friends were crying and we were all crying. I get home, I run to my grandma. I never forget this. I ran to my grandma. She was washing clothes. She was putting clothes into the dryer. And I was like, Huela, huela, huela. Oh, huela means grandma in Spanish, guys. Okay, so I was like, huela, huela. I was like, Aunt Concha, she's in the nursing home. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, she's in the nursing home. She's like, no, she's not. I go, yes, she did not know who I was. She has Alzheimer's. She don't know who any of us are. And my grandma was like, are you kidding me? And I said, no, grandma. I start crying. She starts crying. We're both crying. And she gets on the phone trying to call other family members, but she couldn't get a hold of anybody. So she was like so upset. My mom gets home from work. My mom's like, what's going on? My grandpa walks in from outside. He's like, what's going on? And we're telling him the story. I'm crying. My mom's hugging me. My grandpa's mad. My grandma is just like torn. She goes to her room. My brother gets up. He's like, what the heck's going on? And I go to bed, and I go to bed literally like crying. And so I get up in the morning. I go to school, and people ask me, hey Vic, like what happened? Like, are you okay? I go, everybody was like, Vic, we're so sorry, we can't make this happen. I go, what are the odds? And I go, I know, it's just crazy. Later on that day or after school, I go home, and my grandma's home, obviously. So my grandma had her sister over, which is my aunt. Okay, so bear with me. My grandma's sister was there. And I walk in and I go, Wella, and I give her a hug and I embrace her because we just all were very emotional the day before. And she grabs me and she looks at me and she's like, Mijo, Vic, who did you say that you saw yesterday at the nursing home? And I was just like, Aunt Concha, like why? She's like, are you sure? So I was like, oh crap, did something bad happen to her? And she goes, look. And then my aunt looks at me, she goes, Vic, are you sure you saw your Aunt Concha? And I go, yes. She goes, it's impossible. And I was like, why? And she goes, because I just came back from your Aunt Concha's house. And she's at home. And she's perfectly okay. She says hi. Which would explain why she didn't remember me. It wasn't Alzheimer's. So yeah, that wasn't my aunt at the nursing home. Yeah, so I was hugging a complete stranger. And I told her that I was her great nephew. It was the fact that I was a complete stranger hugging her and she really didn't know who I was. Oh my gosh. Anyways, yeah, that's my story, guys. That's the first story, and hopefully many stories that I'll be taking during my story time. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. If not, let me know. If you did, let me know. It's my life, and it could be not funny sometimes, and it could be funny, and it could be crazy and weird, and that's my life. That's my life, guys. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this little story time. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I usually do vlogs about just my adventures here in New Zealand. If you want to go back and check out some of my other vlogs and give you an idea what I'm doing. And to be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm trying to do with these vlogs and this channel. So just come on the journey. So hit the subscribe button and like and share and join the adventure squad. And as always, guys, keep praying, keep fighting, and definitely keep moving. Love you guys. God bless.